Marshall hosts Coastal Carolina at Jones C. Edwards Stadium in a pivotal Sun Belt East matchup. Marshall enters at 6-3 overall and 4-1 in conference play, riding a 3-game winning streak. Coastal at 5-4 and 2-3 in the Sun Belt is looking to build momentum after a 38-24 win over Appalachian State. This is the third meeting between these two programs, with Coastal holding a 2-0 series advantage. A win today would mark Marshall's first victory over the Chanticleers and keep the Herd in contention for the Sun Belt Championship. Here's head coach Charles Huff on the challenge Coastal Carolina presents.
Obviously a tremendous opportunity to go out and honor the 75. Also a tremendous challenge. A very good football team coming in. Coach Tim Beck has done a phenomenal job in his tenure there. I've known Coach Beck through coaching for a long time. A lot of respect for him, his staff, and what they've been able to do this season. Obviously, there's been some changes now. He's calling the offense, which that's his background. You can see his fingerprints on it each week that he gets an opportunity to call it. He gets a little bit more and more in his realm of what he likes to do. Obviously, he's done it at a very high level, so he's going to have a phenomenal game plan. Defensively, they challenge you with their athleticism. They challenge you each week. There's a little different approach to how they attack offenses. And then on special teams, they play extremely hard and physical. This is the one team that we have not beat in the Sun Belt East. So obviously, they have had a lot of success against us, and we're going to have to play extremely well to change that on Saturday.
Coastal's offense, led by running back Braden Bennett, is efficient and adaptable, making them difficult to game plan against. Huff details their strategic approach.
I think they're trying to be efficient with the run game. I think they do a really good job of putting you in conflict with making sure your rules and your gap soundness across the board is good. I think they do a really good job, formation, shift, adjustment, keeping you off balance. I think they also do a good job. Coach Beck's done this for a long time. Each week they attack each team a little bit different. You know what I mean? So they do a really good job, not just saying, hey, we're going to run our plays and, you may be better than us in this spot or you may have an advantage. They try to find your disadvantages or your deficiencies. And they're also, the good offenses have plays off of plays. So you can't just say, hey, when they line up in this formation, this is what they're doing. They have plays that complement those plays, which typically slows your defense down because I got to make sure that it's not a play action. I got to make sure that it's not, a run or whatever it may be. So I think they've done a really good job, especially the last couple of weeks as they've been through a transition, which I think has helped them. And now you're in that lane. Typically the teams you play week 10, 11, 12, you got 10 games that you can go back to and say, hey, this is what they do. Really, this is like playing game 3 for us. You really don't know what the next step of their offense is going to be just because it's only been 2 weeks that Coach Beck has been kind of calling it. And it's a little bit different than what it was the last 7 weeks. So you really got to kind of say, you don't want to chase ghosts, but you got to look at, okay, this is level 1 and 2, what's 3 and 4, so you can prepare your players.
Defensive end Mike Green emphasized Coastal's unpredictability on offense, noting the difficulty in preparing for their varied schemes.
I think their offense is kind of trying to decide what they want to do. We're not for sure what they're trying to do. I know they run triple option the last game, and before that they were more like a base offense kind of team running inside zone and stuff like that. So we're not completely sure what we should be getting, but I think they're a good team. They've been fundamentally sounded since I could even remember. They always been the team that everybody had respect for. So I think it's going to be a good challenge for us for sure.
On defense, Coastal Carolina relies on a disruptive front seven and athletic secondary to pressure opposing offenses. Coach Huff shared his respect for their defensive personnel.
I got a lot of respect for their linebackers, and they play hard and downhill. Whenever you have good linebacker play, you have good D-line play. Because typically there's a reason why nobody's blocking the linebackers. Part of it is their athleticism and their ability. A lot of it is how they engage fronts and gaps up front. So a lot of respect for their front seven. I think their secondary plays extremely athletic. You know, they play a lot of man coverage. They do some things that kind of mix up. It's not always man, but they do some things that kind of mix up. And when you play man coverage, you have to have a lot of talent because it's one guy gets beat and one guy gives up a step. It's a huge opportunity. But I think collectively, with the pressure they put on you with their front seven, and then the athleticism and the competitiveness on the back, it makes it really challenging to do just what you may normally do. You've got to adjust some things. So that's what we've seen this year. Obviously, you know, new staff the last couple of years of this year and last year before then a little bit different. But you can definitely tell there is a new kind of schematic emphasis with the new staff that's definitely putting pressure on people.
Offensive lineman Logan Osborne echoed Huff's praise for Coastal's defensive front, emphasizing their physicality and discipline.
When you first look at them, I think their D-line's great pass rushers from the interior and out. Number 50, he's a dynamic dude. He's real twitchy. He's got good hands. I think their linebackers are studs. Both of them, they're Mike and Will. And they fly around, they make plays, and they know how to fit runs, which has ultimately got some success. I think their back end is really good too. I mean, if you're going to run man all game, you got to have trust in your players, and obviously they do. So I think they're talented from top to bottom. I think they play really disciplined, really physical, so it's going to be a challenge for us for sure.
Linebacker Landon Watson noted the importance of Marshall focusing on their own execution against Coastal's hard-running offense.
Yeah, you know, they definitely have a good running back room. You know, been watching film on those guys. They run hard, they run behind their pads. The O-line's pretty solid. They just do a really good job, like, playing to their standards. So what we really have to do is play to our standard. You know, every opponent is a new opponent, but really ultimately on Saturday we go out there and play against our standards. So as long as we, you know, take care of what we need to do our job every play, and I think we'll get like the result.
Marshall quarterback Braylon Braxton highlighted the challenge of Coastal's man-to-man defense, which reflects the confidence the Chanticleers have in their secondary.
To me, I would say those two backers in the middle, number 1 and 34. Those guys are, you know, big, strong dudes. They play hard. They play the game the right way, and they're very sideline to sideline. You know, they're athletic, even though they are bigger guys. Also, I would say their defensive line, the way they pass rush. I would say those guys are up front are definitely problems. And then, like Ozzie said, you know, if coach has the confidence to play man all game, that's probably a testament to their defensive backs that they have as well. You know, those guys are probably great players as well, but I feel like this is going to be a great challenge for our offense this weekend. Really see where we match up against one of the top dogs in the conference.
A win would mark Marshall's first victory over Coastal Carolina and keep the Herd in the hunt for the Sun Belt East title. Coming up next, Bill Cornwell takes us through the rest of the Sun Belt action when we continue with West Virginia and Appalachian Laborers District Council College Football Today, presented by LiUNA, your workforce solution, WVLDC.org.